Hello, 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 my beautiful people. Welcome back to Good Morning with me, Misty B. I want to start today's show from a place of gratitude. I'm actually going to toast to everyone later, but guys, I have to share with you, my entrepreneurial journey has been very interesting. I'm sitting here trying to count, when did this thing start? And I'm just going to say it really started like maybe 2014. 2015 is really when I was like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to do this. And I have to give so much thanks for so many people. My parents have been above supportive. My sister, amazing friends like Kevin Jones, Shelly Shinnery, and even people I just met while networking, Misti Starks. I can just go down a list of people who have been with me on this journey. And I always tell the story about how sometimes I didn't necessarily, cry on top of my bed. I would cry underneath the bed. Not really, figuratively, but it's such a joy. It's such a joy. And I say a big thank you to all of you, including my uncle. He gave me a card when I graduated from college that said, "The sky is the limit." And I still have that card to this day because it really resonated with me. And I'm going to toast to all of you shortly. Now notice I keep using the word toast. Can you imagine why? Today I am bringing back a special guest that we had a few weeks ago. His name is Chargois. And if you remember, he brought some really good wines for me to taste. Well, today it's all about the bubbles. Prosecco versus champagne. Which one do we really want to have? Stay tuned because we're going to be right back in just a second, and I'm going to toast to everybody I just named. See you guys in a second.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy. Because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Today in the studio, I have some fun things. I said I was going to toast to the amazing people who have supported me on this journey. And I am going to start with some bubbly rosé brought to you by Mr. Carl Chargois.
Good morning.
Carl, I know your name. I'm so sorry, my love.
Have you been drinking already?
I have not.
Okay, that's the problem.
All right, I know, right?
Exactly.
What do you have for me here?
So this is all about bubbles today.
Okay.
We're going to bring some bubbles out here, and some you might know of, heard about, and some you maybe not heard about.
Okay.
So we're going to start with some rosé.
All right.
This is a sparkling rosé. So let me get some general ground rules down. So all fully sparkling wines are called sparkling wines, or wine with bubbles are just sparkling wines.
Okay.
Now there's some sparkling wines that's less pressure. That's called like fizzy wines.
Okay.
And so, I mean, you may hear about Moscato and Moscato d'Assis and things like that. Even Lambruscos, those are kind of slightly fizzy, but these are full-blown sparkling wines, and these sparkling wines actually have more pressure in this bottle than your car tire.
Oh.
So you have to be very careful when you open these.
Okay.
I'll show you how to do that in a minute.
Okay.
But we're going to start with a toast here. This is a rosé from LVE Vineyards. This is John Legend's vineyard.
Okay.
John Legend has the sparkling rosé to go along with the still rosé, and he has a Napa Valley Cabernet as well.
All right. So last time you brought me the still rosé.
I did.
Okay.
Cheers.
So let's cheers. Let me see what we got. I like this much better than I like the still.
Yeah, the bubbles give it a lift, and that lift is important, especially with rosés, which has more of a kind of a strawberry, watermelon, cranberry flavors. And the nose on this wine is actually quite beautiful. So one of the things also I'm pouring it in this glass, in a white wine glass, for a reason.
Okay.
Okay, so I can get more aromatics out of this glass than the traditional flute you see on television and movies. It looks good on a camera, the bubbles going up long in the stream, but you get better nose and taste out of a glass like this.
You do?
Yeah.
It smells so lovely.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
gorgeous.
dab some. Okay. But so let me ask you, is it, okay, so I love bubbles. I really, really do, but they go flat pretty quickly.
Yeah, a lot of times, it's a couple reasons for that.
Okay.
Okay, so one time you may learn how to open a bottle of bubbles and you popped it off and it released really quickly. The problem with that is it's releasing all that pressure so quickly and it doesn't stay in the liquid. So it goes flatter quicker.
Ah, so I need my bubbles. I need that pressure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you how to do that.
Okay, show me, yes.
Okay. So what we're gonna do
dump this.
is, go ahead and dump that out. You make sure your thumb is over the cork here
Okay.
and open this cage up. And it's about 5.5 twists on the cage. And once you do that, you keep your thumb in pressure on the bottle like that.
Okay.
And then you give the bottom a little twist.
Ooh, the bottom, not the top.
Yeah, you hold the cork,
Okay.
but you give the bottom a little twist, and the pressure in the bottle should push out the cork a little bit, and you ease it out, and it should whisper.
Oh, but I kind of missed the pop.
Well, I mean, there's
Okay.
bubbles for that too.
Okay.
The cheaper bubble.
I don't want the cheaper bubble. Okay.
So this one is another rosé. This rosé is a blend of some Pinot Noir and some other grapes. Well, this is actually 100% Cabernet from South Africa.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Molderbosch.
Molderbosch.
It's a mouthful.
Okay.
But it's actually.
I like that Molderbosch. South Africa. Let's see. I tried a red from South Africa that I really enjoyed once.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let me see.
You know, winemaking across the globe has gotten so much better. I mean, with the sharing of best practices and everything, from winemakers from Australia making wine in South Africa, making wine in France.
All right, cheers. Ready? Let's go. Okay.
Okay, deeper, darker flavors,
Yes.
richer flavors.
Richer for sure.
Yeah, the different grapes offer a difference in flavor and palate.
Okay, and I'm sorry, which grapes are in this one?
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Ah,
So most
okay.
people know Cabernet Sauvignon as this deep red wine.
Yes.
Well, when they make this wine, you take the Cabernet and you squeeze the juice, and the juice is clear.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow that juice to sit in the skins for a short time, it leaches out some of the color out of the skins of the grape.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how long you let it sit, the deeper, darker color it will get.
Got it. Okay, so let me ask you this. So if we do try to open the bottle properly,
Okay, all right.
because I know I have not been opening it properly, how much longer will this last?
Oh, good question. So if you just left it open like this should last you, for most fully sparkling wines, for a good hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
For sure. Now there are closures, and I'll show you in a little bit. I have one in my bag that you can put on here to save it. And you put it in your fridge and save it for a couple days.
Okay, so I can do this for a couple days?
Oh, hell.
Because I've always been okay, if I open bubbles, I have to drink them within that day.
Well,
Because
I like that practice, honestly, but honestly, there are closures you can put back on it to save it for 2 days or 3 days. I wouldn't recommend saving it more than 3 days, honestly, because after that time, the oxygen that has replaced the space here is starting to attack the wine. So, and it can change the flavor and the taste on the wine.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so the last time we did still. We did
Yes.
still rosés. What's a good pairing for still rosés?
Okay, so still rosés I like with all sorts of fare. It could be grilled chicken, salads, and even ham and cheese sandwiches. I mean, it could be it's something like, it's actually, think of it like a picnic wine.
Okay,
And
I like that.
Like
Okay.
a picnic wine. Sandwiches, crudité, even salamis and cheese, that's all fine. Sparkling wines, same thing, because it's still the same kind of wine, it just has bubbles, but it gives everything a lift. And it has a little bit more acidity, usually, and acidity and acid kind of balances with salt and everything. So if you have something salty or slightly acidic, like a salad that you add some vinaigrette to, this should actually pair well with it.
So define lift for me. You've said that a couple
Yeah,
times. It has
yeah,
more of
sorry.
a lift. That's okay.
Yeah,
We're
lift,
learning.
What that means is that the palate is being cleansed. It's being a lift. It's not being weighted down. It's kind of lifting off the any type of residual on the palate. And I say residual because it's probably you had something to eat like olive oil, butter,
Okay.
or garlic or onion or something. This actually gives it a nice cleanse, a lift to kind of refresh your palate.
Got it. Okay, now I was mentioning to my producer earlier that I want to taste in order. Let's talk about order for a second, because I'm really big on that, because you
Okay.
don't want to eat something,
Yeah.
drink. Anyway, you describe it.
Yeah, so tasting order, some people get a little too crazy with it, but I kind of have my thoughts, and then there's other thoughts, and then there's some rule of thumb thoughts. So I'm going to give you the rule of thumb thoughts.
Okay.
So I taste rosé before I taste Brut Champagne or Blanc de Blanc or Blanc de Noir. And those are different types of champagnes or sparkling wines. And because the flavors of strawberry, watermelon, pomegranate, cranberry are actually lighter than the flavors of apple and pear.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. So just like if you were eating the fruit.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So apples and pears and lemon drop, those are flavors that you find in most brutes, along with some lemon meringue and perhaps some creme. So if you were tasting them all together and you could try and do it in order, I'd recommend doing rosés before brutes or before blanc de blanc.
Okay, describe that. First, wait, teach me how to say it. Say it again.
Blanc de blanc, which is white
Blanc
of
de
white.
blanc.
Yeah, white
I
juice
like
from
that.
white grapes, and blanc de noir.
That sounds so sexy. Blanc de blanc.
Yes.
Okay,
And then you have blanc de noir, which is white juice from black grapes.
Okay.
And so the color of the grapes are just the skin color.
Gotcha.
And skin color on the grapes. And most of the black grapes are Pinot Noir,
Okay.
Pinot Meunier, and there are others, but those are the main two dark grapes used in champagne.
So we would
And
go
also
in this order
sparkling
today. We would go rosé,
Yes.
prosecco.
We're not going to do prosecco today, but if
Okay.
we're going to do a prosecco, yes.
Okay, so if we were doing a prosecco, we do rosé,
Yes.
prosecco, and champagne.
Yes.
Okay, that's the order.
And it depends upon the prosecco because prosecco can have a little bit more sugar. So if it's a more sugary prosecco, I put it at the end. Actually.
Absolutely, yeah. Because that'll mess up your palate.
Yes.
You drink that first, and then you go to a brut champagne,
There
and you're
you
like,
go.
this is
Because
disgusting.
brut means dry.
Absolutely.
It's dry.
But now let's talk about that for a second. I know we still have rosés on here, but let's go to a brut champagne really quickly.
Okay.
When is the perfect time? Because I don't like mine very dry.
Okay.
You know how you see the labels that say very dry?
Yeah, these are some technical words on the label that can help you.
Okay.
Ordinarily, just as a rule of thumb, every champagne is dry.
Okay.
Ordinarily, the ones you see in the outlets. There are some things called demi-sec, which is slightly sweeter.
Okay.
There's sec, which is actually sweeter than that.
Okay.
And then you have sometimes you say extra brut or brut extra, and this is confusing. Brut is actually drier than extra brut.
Okay.
Because it's
Really?
think of it like the French has the adjective on the other side, so it's brut with a little extra.
Now you tell me. After all these years, I've been bamboozled. Okay.
Brut with a little extra. So that's kind of thinking like that. So brut is the driest, and then there's one even drier than there, ultra brut. Some people call it sauvage, which means wild or just brutal.
Okay, wait. Okay, I need you to hold your thoughts.
Okay.
Because I need to learn more about this, all right?
Right.
We're going to be right back, guys, right after this break.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac with the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection with standard third row seating for just $459 a month for 39-month lease with only $1 down. Or purchase and receive 1.9% APR for 60 months plus $2,500 bonus cash. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway. Test drive the new 2021 Escalade today at Ron Carter Cadillac.
Smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
I'm a part of the prenatal care club now, taking all my STD tests.
Did you know your doctor's required by law to test you 3 times for syphilis and HIV?
Yes, my husband and I are making sure I get all 3 tests.
Good. Testing is the key to preventing congenital syphilis.
And good prenatal care is your first labor of love.
Glad to hear your husband is so involved.
Thank you. Yes, taking all my STD tests for syphilis is important to both of us. My prenatal promise is to prevent a stillbirth or miscarriage. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We are still in the studio, Mr. Carl Chargois and myself. Now, Carl,
Yep.
I have to tell you, so I really enjoyed the bubbly. I guess I should call it sparkling. I really enjoyed the sparkling rosé much more than I enjoyed the
The
still
still
one.
rosé from John Legend.
Correct.
Okay, from LVE.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's personal preference. And so bubbly and sparkling can be used interchangeably. So
Okay.
you're good on both of those.
Okay, good. You see, I was hesitant. Like, I don't want to get fussed at.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're all sparkling wines, and they're all bubbly wines. It's just that there's some degrees of bubbly.
Okay. Now you said you were going to show me how to properly close this,
Right.
so that it can last more than an hour and a half.
Yeah, so this is a proper sparkling wine closure.
Okay.
Or resealer, or however you want to call it. It has a spring load here on this side, and it's a catch here to catch under the lip of the bottle. So the way to do that is you set it on here and press down and catch it under the lip of the bottle, and it holds everything in. This way the pressure in the bottle stays in it, and if it's another type of stopper, the pressure will just push it out.
So in other words, you're telling me to stop buying the cheap stoppers.
Yes.
Fair enough.
By the proper stopper.
But it makes sense though. Now I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to drink this within an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can put this in the fridge and keep a couple days.
Couple days. Okay. And what do we have here?
So I wanted to move from sparkling rosé wines to a sparkling wine that's not rosé. So
Okay.
these are considered just white wines or white sparkling wines.
A Blanc de Blanc?
Blanc de Blanc is
Okay.
actually a white juice from white grapes. So this
Okay.
is actually Chardonnay, a white grape. And so you would be correct. This would
Okay.
be a Blanc de Blanc. It is brut, still dry. Brut
Okay.
means dry. This is from Chile.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
And it's called the social grape. And we did talk about pricing before, but most of the wines that we just had so far, the three, are all relatively affordable. These are all under about $20.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm smelling it.
Okay.
I can definitely tell that it's dry. I can definitely tell that it's a brut for
Yeah,
sure.
it's dry. You can smell that it's not a whole lot of sweetness here, but there are some fruit essences coming off of this of, light apples, like green apples, and some citrus notes as well.
It smells good. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Let's taste. Cheers. Not bad for a brut.
There you go.
Not bad because usually I have a brut and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is extra
dry.
dry. My head is gonna hurt. These are all the things I'm thinking.
Yeah, in term brut and extra dry, or extra brut or extra dry, you'll see it sometimes on bottles. It's kind of confusing. Brut is dry. Extra dry is dry with a little extra. Because in French,
Okay.
you put the adjective on the other side.
Right.
So it's
And
dry
you
with a
were
little
saying
extra.
that,
So
yeah.
so it kind of goes the other side. So if you want something very dry, go brut. You want something less dry, go extra dry.
I'm really mad at you for just not telling me.
It's confusing.
It's okay. I know you told me earlier, but
Yeah,
this
it's confusing.
I love the aroma. What am I smelling here? So you
So-
said it's a Chardonnay grape.
It's Chardonnay grape, but grapes, depending on where they're grown, they'll have different attributes. And so when you pick up the glass of Chardonnay, the sparkling Chardonnay from the social grape, you get that nice, wonderful aroma of some green apple notes
Okay.
and some citrus notes, along with some good floral notes as well, some white flowers, kind of smells on this wine. And then when you put it on the palate, you taste that wonderful acidity, or you get that wonderful acidity that's attacking the palate, cleansing it off, and that citrus note and a little bit of green apple, Granny Smith apples on the palate.
Okay. So what would you pair this with?
Good question. So anything green, green salad, green beans, honestly.
Not green beans. Okay.
Depending on what you do with your green beans.
know, right?
But green salads for sure. Green salads are really great with this, or just as an aperitif, just to serve it to cleanse the palate. I said, earlier I talked about how acid is actually good for cleansing the palate. You may have had something to eat earlier in the day or whatever, and you want to cleanse off and give it a nice little lift, a little for refreshment. Bubbles are perfect for that.
Really?
Because it has the acidity to wash off everything that you've had before.
Gotcha.
And the bubbles just lift off everything as well. So it's a wonderful palate cleanser.
Okay, so tell me this, don't laugh. So old school is what we used to do. When I would do wine tastings, I'd have everybody sip the first sip and kind of wash around.
Yeah.
You still do that?
Oh, absolutely. So the best way to taste wine is to not just put it in your mouth and swallow it.
Right.
Okay, that's you're drinking wine at that point. If you want to taste wine, you need to move it around your palate, just like you move your food around your palate, like you chew it.
You want to do
almost.
it? Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's show people how to do it. Okay, cheers again.
Cheers
Come on,
again.
let's
Here
go.
we go. And it's going to look kind of sloppy, but underneath the tongue, through the teeth, on the top of the palate, everywhere. Get it
Cleanse
everywhere.
it. But that will allow me to taste this one, right? And I'll be
Absolutely.
able to taste it, all of it, correct?
Absolutely. Now your mouth is filled with flavor.
It is.
Now it's filled with flavor. It's not just going down the tongue and down the gullet.
So I have a confession.
Yeah.
I have never did that with a brut. I have never ever did that. Never.
How does it feel?
I like it though. I can literally tell the difference. I can tell that my palate is cleansed.
Yeah, it's not the most attractive thing in the world. You see somebody going, it's not the most attractive thing in the world to see someone doing that. Like, what are they doing?
Right.
But it actually it adds to the enjoyment of the wine.
Absolutely. Okay, so this bottle looks extremely. Oh yeah, let's dump this.
Okay.
Even though I did enjoy this, I would
Okay.
definitely be picking that up because sometimes I don't really do bruts because I'm like, it's gonna be too dry. But that was really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Now this bottle is
It's rather
exquisite.
fancy. This is rather fancy. Now, this is true champagne. Now,
Okay.
there's been a lot of discussion about champagne. Champagne is a region in France.
Right.
It makes a sparkling wine.
Right.
And the grapes that make up that sparkling wine are traditionally Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. Those are the main three. There are four others, but those are the main three. This wine is called Le Chemin du Roi. Champagne Le Chemin du Roi. It is a brut non-vintage, and this is a brut vintage, sorry. And so this is owned by somebody named Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
I think I know that person.
You know that rapper?
I know the name anyway.
TV mogul, actor,
Okay.
producer. This is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson wine, and this wine entered a competition in Houston called the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Wine Competition, and took the reserve grand champion out of all 3,000 wines that were entered.
Wow. Okay. Let's see if that was for branding purposes, or let's see. Let me be the taste tester. Okay.
All right. Now I will tell you that competition is done in a double blind, is what they call it. So they have no idea what they're getting in the glass.
So this, okay, and I have been there before. I've done the rodeo and court thing. So
Okay, yeah.
All right. Let me smell.
Okay. Now Le Chemin du Roi actually translates to mean the king's path.
I like that.
And if you notice, that's a chess piece on the front.
I saw the branding is immaculate.
It's beautiful.
Okay, let's see.
So, tell me the first impression on the nose. Is it
Don't tell me
same? Is it the same as this or different?
Absolutely different.
Absolutely different. Yes. Now, this is all Chardonnay. This is a blend of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. But notice the wonderful aromas coming off this wine versus this wine.
It smells expensive. I'm going to be very honest. It does, and it's not a bad way, but it's just I can just tell the difference.
So Champagne has notes in the nose of almost baked bread, based yeast from fresh dough or fresh baked bread, along with pear apple notes as well as meringue, like lemon meringue a little bit. So it's a wonderful baked aroma is what you're kind of getting a little bit. Think of it like almost like sugar cookies coming off the cooking sheet. It's almost that bad.
That's right. All right, cheers. Let's go. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So this offers much more depth of flavors. So if this offered Granny Smith apples, this is more in the deeper apple flavor of the categories, Gala, Fuji, deeper in the apple flavors, along with lemongrass notes.
And it's a champagne?
This is champagne.
Wow.
So this is from Champagne, France. Now, you know, most of the world recognizes bubbles that come from champagne. You can put champagne on it. Most of the world recognize that's the only place champagne can come from. There are some things that America did back in the 70s, like Corbel calls itself American champagne, and that's been allowed to do that. But Le Chemin du Roi is from Champagne. There are several champagne producers in Champagne. Now, it's being challenged a little bit by another country, saying that they just passed a law not too long ago saying, you know, hey, we are Champagne. Now, most of the world doesn't recognize that place. But everyone in the world recognizes a sparkling wine from Champagne as true champagne.
Okay, so tell me you would pair this one with anything green. You said green salads, green beans. Now, what are we going to pair 50 cents wine champagne with?
You can go everywhere from lobster, clams, those seafoods that offer some good richness, king crab, things like that, scallops, beautiful with this, butter, anything with butter and that seafood flavor. You can also go into chicken, and there are other two wines to this one. Is a Blanc de Blanc and a Blanc de Noir. He makes two others, and those wines can also pair with red meats as well. Blanc de Noir would actually be good with Tex-Mex.
I'm going to say it, I have a thing where I trust my taste buds. Yeah. I have to say, this bad boy is delicious.
Now, this is a little, it's delicious.
It is.
And that's why I won the Reserve Grand Champion at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And since then, other critics like Wine Spectator Magazine and others have all said this is very good champagne. And when I say very good, it's up in the upper 90 percentile.
I was going to ask you, has it been rated? So it has been rated.
Yes, upper 90 percentile is how you look at it. And once you get up above 90s and above 94, you're making some good stuff.
Carl, thank you so much for coming in here again.
No problem.
And allowing me to taste.
Absolutely. These wines are actually beautiful wines for their price points. This one is a little bit more pricey on the premium side. It's about $160, $175 a bottle, somewhere in there. But it's for good special occasions.
Well, this is great. You know why? Because I told everyone before the segment started that I wanted to toast to the people who have supported me on this journey. So guys, we're toasting with an excellent wine, okay? A very expensive bottle, but it tastes so good and it is so worth it.
It's worth the money.
We'll be right back after this.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Alrighty guys, now after watching me taste those amazing samples, which one are you going to buy the next time you go to the store? Is it going to be Prosecco or will it be champagne? And don't forget, you can always jazz up whatever it is you decide to taste. As always, you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook at American Star TV. And I really want to know if you have a creative way of drinking your champagne or your Prosecco, let us know. Or if you have a special event that you want us to announce, let me know. I want to talk about it and I really want to celebrate you. Again, always dream out loud, and a very special thank you for everyone who supported me on my journey and who is starting to support me now. I appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.